Hi there, it's Metaversing. Welcome back to the channel. So Porto is coming to Upland. It's gonna be the first European city in our metaverse. You know what I like about international cities? It's a huge wave of new local players that you can get into Upland. For example, Rio. Rio got Upland a lot of new Brazilian players who liked the idea of minting virtual properties that they were seeing in the real life. Similarly, Porto will also unlock a new user acquisition channel for Upland, and the word soon might spread to other European countries. Besides bringing in new local users, the city also opens the platform for a new kind of legends, that is the soccer legends. So Upland has partnered with FC Porto right now, but if this goes well, they would be able to crack more partnerships with other European clubs, which will eventually bring more users who would be joining Upland primarily with the thought of collecting the NFTs of their favorite football players or football teams. And once they join Upland, they might also shop around and mint more properties here, keeping the Upland economy moving. There's a stat that the 2018 FIFA World Cup final between France and Croatia was viewed by 1.2 billion people worldwide. On average, there were about 500 million active viewers watching the game at any time. I understand it's one of the biggest events in football or soccer. Even if I assume that only 200 million people follow football religiously, like they are the hardcore fans, and let's say that only 20% of them are really understanding the concept of NFTs or would be interested in it, I'm still looking at a 40 million user base which could be acquired by Upland in the future. Anyway, back to Porto Release. The release is scheduled for August 22, Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Please note that there won't be any stress test this time, so it's the entire city that you get. There will be just 35,000 properties available for minting. An interesting observation is that Upland is now calling it parcels and not properties. I'm not sure if it's because of some legal concerns or something. Anyway, to give you some context of the size, Rio had about 50,000 properties in the first release, and most of the speculated areas got sold in like 5 minutes, and the rest of the city probably got minted in like an hour or so. Porto is about half of that. Second, Upland has 40,000 daily active users. Even if only 20,000 of us participate in the Porto release, that's like 20,000 people fighting for 35,000 properties. I understand that some of us would probably waste the first few minutes trying to navigate to the important areas and not being able to mint them, but you can expect 20,000 people to finish the job in like 20 minutes or so. Also, 33% of the properties are reserved for the FSAs. That means only 23,000 properties are left for most of the active Upland user base. We'll probably have 8 collections, which is fair given the size of the city. It's a tier 4 city for treasure hunting, so not very valuable if you already have a web in one of the other cities. If not, you can explore building one in Porto. Since it's very small, you might not need more than 15 properties to hunt efficiently. Even though the release will be very competitive, but if you're serious about hunting, all you need is 5 minutes to create a decent web. Okay then, let's talk collections. What we know so far is Porto will probably have 8 collections. There are 15 neighborhoods, so I'm thinking maybe 4 neighborhood collections, 2 to 3 streets, and 1 ultra rare. Let's start with neighborhoods first. Number 1, Sé. Sé has to be one of the most obvious choices in Porto. It's slightly confusing because most websites call it Ribera and some are calling it Sé. And even the neighborhood borders are slightly different, but rest assured, call it Sé or Ribera. It's definitely one of the most popular places in Porto. It's one of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites, and it's definitely one of the most touristy neighborhoods in the city. Sé is full of medieval streets, cobblestone alleyways, colorful houses, numerous restaurants and cafes, and a few churches and museums. Might be a limited or standard collection given the size. Number 2, Santo Ildefonso. Again, I'm very confused because some websites are referring it to as Baixa, so something is going on there. This neighborhood appears to be downtown Porto, so definitely a commercial place. If I just randomly zoom into any part of it, you'll see a lot of named properties. Let me give you an example. For example, this one. So you'll see a lot of restaurants, you'll see hotels, and you'll also see theaters, which you don't see right now. Another special thing about Santo Ildefonso is that it has got Porto City Hall, which I feel might become an important landmark, just like San Francisco City Hall. Maybe in the future, people who've got their Upland home address in Porto will be able to visit this city hall and request for their custom block explorers, or maybe also, apply for a MetaVenture shop through the city hall. So while it might become a standard collection given the size, if you mint anything near the city hall, you'll definitely be able to sell for a good profit. Number 3, São Nicolau. Apparently, São Nicolau, Miragaia, Vitoria, and Sé all lie within the UNESCO World Heritage classified zone and hence are very important. Honestly, I think both São Nicolau and Miragaya make a very strong case for possible exclusive collection. Miragaya goes back to medieval times. It was a part of Porto's suburbs where the Jews and the Armenians used to live. It has many important landmarks like World of Discoveries, Museu Arte Sacra, Museum of Transport and Communication, and Centro de Congresso do Porto, etc. If it has to be only one of them, I would go with São Nicolau because it's full of landmarks. You'll find Ribeira Square somewhere here, I think, Stock Exchange Palace, Church of São Francisco, Porto Historic Center, and a lot more. Given the small size, it'll most likely be an exclusive collection. Number 4, Foz do Douro. It's one of the most expensive neighborhoods to live in. The other two are Aldoar and Nebogilde. The land price is roughly 3,700 euros per square meter, which is really high. But again, if it has to be just one of these three, I'll say it's Foz. Besides being a wealthy neighborhood, it has some of the best beaches in Porto. If you've ever searched for best beaches in Porto, you would have definitely come across Praia dos Ingleses. No matter which website you check, it's always going to be there. Another popular beach is Praia do Carneiro, so yes, I believe Foz do Douro could be a collection. Given the size, probably a standard. Lastly, more like an honorable mention, I really want Cedo Feita to be a collection, just that it's a little too big to be one, so I'm not very sure. But it does have the potential to be a collection. Now to streets. Number 1, Avenida dos Aliados. It's this one which is very close to Porto City Hall, if you remember. The literal translation would be the Avenue of Allies. The avenue honors the Allied countries of the First World War. It's a very short street that connects the historic center and the modern district of the city. Culturally, it holds a significant value as people regularly gather here to celebrate major events like New Year's Eve, St. John's Eve, FC Porto's victories, etc. Just below Avenida dos Aliados, we've got Praça da Liberdade, means Liberty Square. This street is also equally important to Porto's history and also hosts many important landmarks. The only problem is it's a very short street. I think it just ends here, and while Avenida dos Aliados goes all the way till here. So I feel what I feel is Praça da Liberdade will have maybe one or two ultra rare landmarks, and Avenida dos Aliados will probably become a rare collection. Number 2, Rua do Cais da Ribeira. From what I've understood, the street is a part of the historic center, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This river-facing area looks really beautiful and is also one of the liveliest part of the city. This 1.5 kilometer long street would probably become a rare collection. Number 3, Rua de Santa Catarina. It's one of the most popular shopping streets in Porto, known for clothes, shoes and luxury stores. The street hosts many international brands like Zara, H&M and more, and it also has two important landmarks. Number 1 is Cafe Majestic or Majestic, and the other one is the Chapel of the Almas. It's a fairly long street. It starts here and goes all the way till here, so it might just be an exclusive collection or maybe a limited one. Number 4, Rua de Miguel Bombarda. It starts here and goes all the way till here. The street is well known for its cultural aspect, so you'll find many beautiful art galleries and graffitis here. And you can also shop for vintage and designer clothes along with other things. Just because of the art side of it, I feel it might become an exclusive collection. For ultra rare, I think it'll be a mix of port houses, churches and some important landmarks. Port houses are pretty obvious as Porto is well known for its port wine. So some of the most popular port houses might make it to the ultra rare collection. I think you can find some along the Douro River, somewhere here maybe, I guess. Churches are more of an observation based on the list of landmarks shared by Upland. There are 4 churches in here in a list of 8. So I think some of the important churches which are missed here would probably make it to the ultra rare collection. Some of the important landmarks like some popular palaces, museums and some historical buildings might also get listed. So historical buildings like the ones on Praça da Liberdade might be there. Okay, so that's all for Porto's collection prediction. What areas are you targeting? Do tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.